What's up, slashettes? My name is Nightfall, and welcome back to another anime analysis video. Today we will be discussing an isekai that came out a couple years back called Isekaicheatmagician. To begin with, this isekai starts off as every isekai does, with the main protagonist, or in this case protagonists, getting summoned to another world and being overpowered. We'll get more into them later, but for now let's talk about the story. There's a strange lady named Lady Shade who is super powerful and is manipulating people in power throughout the world, causing wars, planning large scale monster attacks, and tanking the economy. We also find out much later that she has apparently been manipulating our world as well, such as letting Taichi, the main protagonist, hear the spirits and is indirectly responsible for his summoning. Essentially, this season is about Taichi and Ren, the other summon character, fighting off ambushes, monsters, and a war all orchestrated by Lady Shade, while trying to find out who summoned them, and once they do find out who summoned them, they then had to think about how they can get back. It's pretty action filled, but it is pretty campy at times, and that mixed with Taichi being a rather bland protagonist for about half the season made me feel more like I was watching a shonen rather than an isekai. With that out of the way, let's get on to some points about the characters that made me love watching this anime. Now, keep in mind I won't go in depth with the characters themselves as this isn't a character analysis. So with that said, let's move on to the next segment. The first thing I realized when watching this anime was that the two main characters, Taichi and Rin, while both overpowered, actually represent the two different types of smarts. With Rin being book smart, using her understanding of modern science and this world's magic she learns through studying, to use powerful spells and create devastating combinations that make her a force to be reckoned with when fighting against her. Taichi, while shown to have an average grasp of science, maybe a little bit above average, represents street smarts. He's capable of reading the room, so to speak, like when he knew what to say to spark a reaction when investigating stolen goods. Reading other people, as he can tell Anastasia isn't just a normal lady, but actually quite trained based off of how she moved and reacted to the movements of those around her. And of course, adapting when put into a fight. While he has lost against the foe, that was literally something he could do nothing about, you do see in his fight with General Sumela that he adapts very quickly to people's fighting styles and movements, as she comments how his attacks get sharper and sharper each time he strikes. On top of the smarts they represent, there's one thing this anime does that a lot of isekai either try to do or just flat out avoid, and that is they realistically cover the topic of the main characters killing other humans. When Taichi and Rin join the war, they come face to face with the fact that they aren't going to be killing monsters, and it weighs heavily on both of their minds. They know that it's a choice that is most likely unavoidable, but both of them don't know if they'd actually be able to set their moral beliefs aside and do it. Neither of them want to kill anyone, and instead, they ultimately decide they want to use their power to save and protect above all else. So, from the first battle, and even during the war itself, they both refuse to kill, and instead restrain or knock out their opponents. Even when the soldiers on the field are mind controlled and start attacking friends and foe alike, they refuse to kill them. They stay true to their beliefs until Taichi dispels the magic controlling the soldiers, leaving Inamicus, the person who mind controlled them, as the last remaining obstacle keeping the war going. And that is where Taichi decides to, quote, give up on being human. And after fighting Inamicus, he decides to kill him. This is where things differ from other isekai. You see, in other isekai, killing other people is either never mentioned to be an issue, or it's brought up like it'll be some big hurdle, and then when the MC actually does kill another human, it doesn't seem to affect them at all. But here things are different. Leading up to the war, we see how it affects the characters, and then after Taichi kills Inamicus, it still weighs on his mind as he wonders if there was some other way, something he could have done differently. In his mind, he did something that made him quit being human. The story is decent, and the anime as a whole is campy and feels more like a shonen, but it somehow still manages to make the characters more realistic than a lot of other isekai, and that is why I believe it is one of the greatest. This script was honestly probably the hardest for me to write since Kemonomichi, and I think you can really tell that, as it's definitely not my best work, and I deeply apologize for that. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I'll hopefully see you all soon. Goodbye.